This month, we've been looking at the theme of creativity in the annual theme of living everyday wonder. And today, specifically on the day or the Sunday where lots of people in the United States of America celebrate Passover or celebrate Easter, we're looking at the theme of reveal, release, and rise. Reveal, release, and rise. And when I think about reveal, release, and rise, I am reminded of a quote by Eckhart Tolle who says, "You find peace not by rearranging the circumstances of your life, but by realizing who you are at the deepest level." Now, what does all of that have to do with reveal, release, rise? What does all of that have to do with the monthly theme of creativity as we're looking at the annual theme of everyday wonder? And as I was with this talk, a topic and title for today, this quote really speaks to the idea that I create my life. You create your life. Now, that is, of course, if we're not living in victimhood. And when we're living in victimhood, life happens to us. But when we rise above victimhood and we begin to recognize that there's one power, one presence, one life, that life is spirit, is source, it is the great I am, the great reality. It is that I am presence that some people call God. When we recognize that God created everything out of itself, therefore my life is the life of God. It is, in fact, the unique, unrepeatable, perfect, divine way that I show up in human form as the life of God. When I recognize that my life is not separate from the life of pure spirit. And so when I want to create peace in my life, when I want to create abundance in my life, when I want to experience love and joy and harmony in my life, if I'm living in victim consciousness, then I haven't risen above, there goes the rise, I haven't risen above this mental twist and being stuck in behaviors and beliefs that no longer serve me. However, through spiritual practice, when I begin to recognize this truth, there's where it comes in, where we reveal truth. When I, through my spiritual practice, reveal the truth that my life is a unique, unrepeatable way that God is showing up in human form, then it is then and only then that I can rise above that and I can release any blocks, when I can release any fears, any doubts, all of those things, those beliefs and behaviors that keep me from my greatness. So it's not by rearranging the circumstances of my life, but it is indeed, as Eckhart Tolle says, it's by realizing who you are at the deepest level. And so I am already thick into the talk in just these few moments, but I don't want to tarry long here. It doesn't make sense to stretch it out when in fact the point is that on a daily basis, we reveal, release, and rise when we choose to, that we can reveal the truth, that we are indeed revealers of the truth when we are in close proximity to that indwelling presence. And that is what we believe. And when I speak to that, that we're all revealers of truth. The question is, am I willing and ready to reveal the truth? Am I willing and ready to rise up? Am I willing and ready to release those things that no longer serve me? And what it takes in these moments as we think about like resurrection, as we think about the religious ways that people look at this particular day, I like to think that if if Jesus, the Christ, left the tomb behind, then so will I, and so can I. If if this master teacher is willing to say nothing can stop me, I am ready to remove this big boulder that keeps me stuck in this tomb, and I'm ready to rise up. I'm ready to transcend all of the fears, the doubts, the egos, the resentments. I'm ready to transcend that. Because the truth is that we are not simply our social identities. And to the degree in which you reveal the truth of who you are, which is what Eckhart Tolle was talking about, when you realize who you are at the deepest level, that you are the unique way that God is showing up, really all this other stuff is just stuff. But it seems so heavy. And it feels so real because we're identifying with our personhood, when we can in fact recognize that I am divinely human, that I am a spiritual being having this human experience, and that I'm simply occupying this body for a spell, for a period of time to enjoy, but remember who I really am, that my real ID is not the demographics on my card that I pull out when someone says, "Can I see your ID?" That my real ID is I'm the unique, unrepeatable way that God is showing up in human form. Therefore, that which is true of Holy Spirit, therefore, that which is true of source and substance, therefore, that which is true of the great I am, I am. I like what Bell Hooks also says when she says, living life in touch with the divine spirit lets us see the light in all living beings. That light is a resurrecting life force. So what is it then that Bell Hooks is saying here? That when we stay in touch with the truth of who we are, in other words, as we continue to reveal the truth of who we are, we can release those ideas about who people are. Ooh, my neighbor. Ooh, you don't know my sister. Ooh, that person down the street that dissed me. Ooh, that person driving that car that cut me off. Oh, those people. Oh, those anti-vax people. Oh, those people with the political party. Oh, those people who are abusing. Oh, those people who are ta 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 ta. When I am living in touch with divine spirit, when I am revealing the truth of who I am, I can't help but see that same illumination in all living beings, whether they're acting like it or not, whether they're living it or not. And that, beloveds, is that light is a resurrecting life force, which then means am I actively involved in forgiving, in releasing those blocks, in releasing those things that keep me from you, because I have an opinion as to who you need to be and how you need to be acting and living your life, or what you need to be saying or what you don't need to be saying, all of that. And that release part is so important, that I get to release this idea of what you should be. And should is doubt. Should is I like to say, stop shoulding on yourself. I need to stop shoulding on myself. It is a denial and an unacceptance of what is. And so the release is really, am I willing to forgive? Am I willing to let it go? Am I willing to give up my position about who I think you are or what you should be about? That process is me again moving out of victimhood. I'm not the victim here. And it's interesting how me staying in victimhood by telling the story about that, how that person hurt me and hurt my feelings, how me being in victimhood actually keeps me superior to the person who I say misused me or abused me or cursed me out or hurt me, because now I'm superior than that person. Oh, look at that person ain't no good. Look at what they did. They're not even human. They're this or they're that or the other thing. Ah, that's where victimhood has this duality of poor me, I'm hurt, but I'm better than that person who hurt me. How could they? How could they? And forgiveness or release means that I get to transcend that I get to actually let that go. I get to let go of the story that keeps me bound. I get to release those blocks. I get to release the beliefs and the behaviors that keep me stuck in a life that no longer serves me. So if I'm gonna leave that tomb behind, if I'm gonna be like JC, if I'm going to be like Jesus the Christ, I must forgive. I must let that go. I must release that. I must be able to roll away the stone and be free so that I can rise up, right? That I can rise up in my faith. And something begins to happen when we move from victimhood, that life happens to me, that life happens by me. See, this transcendent story is really about choice. It's really about me recognizing that I have the power to create. That's what we're talking about this month, creativity. So what am I creating? I love it when Reverend Judy talks about wine. As someone who's in recovery, I like that you cannot put new wines in old wineskin. It just cannot handle it. It cannot hold it. So in other words, the thought for today cannot exist in yesterday's container. Who I am today cannot exist in yesterday's container. My consciousness continues to grow. Or how I like to put it is, I can't stay clean on yesterday's shower. So, beloveds, what gets to happen is that I get to release victimhood. I get to recognize that I am the captain of my ship, that I get to create my life, and that in this process, I have always been creating my life, whether it's been consciously or unconsciously. And so what I know is by reconnecting, by revealing the truth, by coming back to the present, and by recognizing through my spiritual practice, whether it's my meditation, whether it's my study, whether it's talking with a practitioner, whether it's being reminded again of the truth of who I am, is that I am always at choice. And that I, by revealing this truth, now I'm in a different position where I get to release those things that block me. Ego, limited thinking, unforgiveness, the stories. I get to release that and I get to rise up. Emma Curtis Hopkins calls it rising and going to the upper room, meaning we rise in consciousness. We let go of those boulders and those things that keep us so weighed down. We let go of our myopic points of views and we elevate our consciousness and we rise up. We begin to wish people well or see them in a different light. We begin to know that right where they are, God is. And that's exactly what Bell Hooks was talking about when she says that by living in touch with the divine spirit, it lets us see the light in all living beings. I'm not the only one, but I am part of the one. And it is important that I recognize that and that I rise to that set of that stream of consciousness. I want to also highlight this particular quote that says that there are no neutral thoughts. Every single thought is charged with a quality of energy. And when charged with love, every thought can contribute to the healing of the planet and the transformation of the world. Wow. What am I creating? Am I creating from the thoughts of lack and limitation and hatred and discord and separation? Or am I in such a deep spiritual practice that my spiritual maturity and that my come from, I love that, my come from, where I live from, is based in love and charged in love, so that my healing energy, that my energy of love is actually contributing to the healing of the planet. And the healing of the planet is really the revealing of the love that is really fully present. Now, just because we see reports of war does not mean that there's not love on the planet. It just means that that's where we are bringing our focus to. And so it is imperative for me to be in such deep spiritual practice that my energetic is that energetic of love, so that this transcendence story, this resurrection story, this reveal, release, and rise, a story of mine, contributes to the healing of our planet. And so it is indeed, beloveds, with that consciousness that it is important that we continue to be in spiritual practice, that we continue to be in the loving presence of our meditation, our treatment, our affirmations, our study, our journaling, our visioning, that we might be so steep that our energetic is that energetic of love. And so I leave you with this affirmation. And the affirmation is this: I reveal the truth. I release all blocks. I rise in faith. And this is all because Ernest Holmes said that you will never rise triumphant. You will never rise triumphant while you are persistent with old mental thoughts. So we're going to be rid of the old mental thoughts. We're going to embrace the new mental thoughts, because we continue now to reveal the truth. We release the blocks and we rise together in faith. Enjoy the rest of this day. You are amazing, and I love you.